on the front porch. On the front porch.
Right through your false defenses. You act as if you can ignore the sound. My force detectors tell me you're pretending. All of your systems are about to go down. No need to panic, I know you feel it. If you can stand it, just dance. I'm your mechanic, I know you feel it. This automatic romance. It's automatic. It's automatic. It's automatic. It's automatic. I know the secrets to your circuitry, girl. To your diskette I have the access code. Don't try to fight this electricity, girl. From all this power you might overload. No need to panic, I know you feel it. If you can stand it, just dance. I'm your mechanic, I know you feel it. This automatic romance. It's automatic. It's automatic. It's automatic. It's automatic. Girl, I can see right through your false defenses. Before you know it, I'll be in control. My force detectors tell me you're pretending. Your force repellers can no longer hold. No need to panic, I know you feel it. If you can stand it, just dance. I'm your mechanic, I know you feel it. This automatic romance. It's automatic. 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 I realize, baby, all the things you fantasize, baby. It's in your eyes, baby. So let your body rock. Shake that I'll make you wet, baby. I'll make you sweat, baby. I'm your best bet, baby. So let your body rock, 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 rock. I know you feel it. Just dance. I know you feel it. Romance. It's automatic. automatic.
I know you feel it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree, and on the other side of the glass are Jared and Jasmine on this Bad Churn Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. Good morning, and good morning. I hope you all are having a wonderful beginning to your day. I definitely am having a decent start to my day, albeit my night ended this morning, but we'll talk about that a little later. But in the meantime, grab yourself a comfortable chair, a mug or a tumbler of your favorite frosty or steamy adult beverage. I had a steamy adult beverage this morning. Yeah, coffee. I wasn't supposed to drink it, but I needed it today. And join us here on the Front Porch for the next 3 hours as we cruise the news with a New Orleans focused scope. But don't forget, mind your manners. Say good morning and hit us up here on the talk line at 504-582-9422 or join us online on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube right here on WBOK Media. Good morning, and good morning. Of course, on Tuesday nights, CJ plays at Vaughn's. The show doesn't start until 10. And yesterday, I don't think they finished till almost 2. So that means, a little tired this morning. Not exhausted because I did get some rest yesterday, but a little tired this morning. But happy to be here and enjoy this Taurus season as I am having a wonderful time. Last night, my best friend and I went to attend the screening of a documentary about the Eaglettes, the McDonough 35 Eaglettes. And it was a story told about them getting ready for the explosion. And if you're from New Orleans and you're from the age of like the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s in this city, you might be familiar with the explosion, which was like a variety show slash talent show at 35, where the students were the artists and they sang, they danced, they did a whole lot of different things during explosion. And so once we began our alumni weekend, we have the explosion 3.5, which is for the alum. And so it followed the journey of a few of the Eagleette dancers from the 80s and their journey to finding themselves again through dance. And it's pretty cool because yes, it was about the dance team and the dance team preparing to perform, but it was also about them remembering who they are and remembering who they were before they became mothers and career with women and wives and um, all of the other spaces that they have stepped into in their adulthood, but returning to some things that brought them joy. And it was nice to watch the interviews. And then some of the ladies who were featured in the film were also at the screening on yesterday that was held at St. War. And Devin Marshall was the producer, the um, filmographer, the editor, all of those different things for the film. And I think it ran for about 90 minutes or so, but it was pretty interesting to, again, see the journey of the women finding their way back to themselves through dance and camaraderie with schoolmates. And it's really important. It's really cool, and it's really like necessary as we are aging and getting older. Because to be honest, when I participated with the cheerleaders this this reunion school year, it was a remembrance of who I was as a teenager. Also, it was a freeness to be around people who are just as creative now as they were then, and to be in community with women who, I mean, we have physicists, biological physicists in the group. We have FBI agents and all of those things. But to be in community with these um, these different people who, in the very base, we started off as teenagers um, in the same high school. So it was really, really good to see and watch the story. 504-582-9422. Good morning, Elwin.
Good morning, Kim, and how you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good this morning. What are you up to this morning? I need some more volume.
You need some more volume?
No, no, no. I was talking to the producers.
Okay. Um, I'm doing fine. I was supposed to went to the podiatrist today, but
Uh-huh.
she had an emergency, so I had to cancel out. And she had to cancel out with me.
Oh,
So we're gonna reschedule that sometime next week.
okay. So you don't have the physical therapy today?
And no, I ain't gonna have physical therapy for a while because I talked to the man yesterday who was helped me do the physical therapy, and I told him I'm gonna let him know when I'm able to come back because remember I'm going to Oxnard for the bladder thing,
Okay.
so I will let him know when we're gonna schedule that.
Gotcha.
And you
Gotcha.
want me to be nice to the doctors, right?
I want you to be nice to the medical professionals who are helping you heal. And as a rule of thumb, you should just be kind to people in general.
I do be kind to people in general.
I don't
It's
know.
people, it's people that gets me in trouble.
I
Not
don't
I get
know.
people in trouble.
I don't know, Elwin. I don't know if I can put that on other people.
Well, there's some
You got to take
professionals.
some responsibility.
Well, I do take responsibility. That's
Mm,
why I came out of Oxnard. That's why I came out of Oxnard walking.
hmm.
So I mean, if I didn't take responsibility, I mean, the nurses. I had a nice nurse named Whitney.
Name Whitney?
Yeah, she was really
Okay.
nice, huh? And I had another one with the same name that the lady do on Fox 8. I can't think of her
The
name.
lady we were trying to figure out her name yesterday?
No. The one who does the show after the news. I can't think of her name right now. I'll think of it maybe later on, and I'll tell you about it. But she was really nice. They were always really nice. They thought I had pulled a thing out of my arm. And the thing, no, I didn't pull a thing out of my arm. What happened was I laid on the right side, and the thing fell out of my arm. And so she kind of understood it when I told her about it. But we was okay with it. I mean, she was really nice after that. I was really nice to her. I mean, I had some good nurses over there.
Yeah, most of them were, from what I knew, the care you were receiving, they were nurses that were doing a wonderful job. You just were getting frustrated with being in there and taking it out on the wrong people.
No, what I was really frustrated at Tulane Lakeside. Oh, I was really and what's that other hospital down the street from Tulane Lakeside, East Jefferson. I was
Uh-huh.
really frustrated over there because they didn't know what to do, and they kind of like had me shackled down, and I got frustrated with that. I said, "Why y'all got me shackled down like that? I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna stay in this bed." So, I mean, it, stuff like that. They had me shackled down, but they got it. I mean, when I left East Jefferson, I went over to Tulane Lakeside, and that's when trouble really began over there. at Tulane Lakeside because they didn't know. One doctor said he wanted to clean the knee out, then he changed his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I, I'm saying, well, the same doctor did the surgery on me, said he was going to clean the knee out. So I'm saying, well, what is you doing, man? You talking about you want to clean the knee out and then you change your mind, bro? What's going on? So he
So
didn't
did they
say
give you a
nothing.
reason why they changed the course of action?
No, he didn't even tell me why. But see, the next time I went to go see him, the leg was leaking, and then he was telling me like, well, I'm gonna have to, want to amputate the leg. And I'm saying, I'm not gonna go for that. So I went over to Oxnard, and Oxnard did the job that I wanted them to do. So, there's some doctors, and he was an older doctor. So, I mean, this guy he didn't mess up other people's knees besides mine. So there's some doctors, they want to make that money to cut on you, but they just want that money, and and I just can't. I wasn't gonna let him take my leg off. No. So it went that way, and somebody told me in one of his clinics go get a second opinion. So when I got the second opinion, from Oxnard, and Oxnard did what I wanted them to do.
Okay.
So,
Well, you've been doing your due diligence. We've been talking about it since I've been on the air, on the front porch, and like we've listened to you go through some of the trial and error, but it sounds like things are turning a corner in your favor, which is all
yeah,
we
it is.
want.
It is. It is. I'm doing push-ups now.
Oh, well, okay.
So I wasn't doing them before, but I was doing them before. I wasn't doing them before. Well, I wasn't doing them when I had the surgery, but I was doing them before I had the surgery. So I'm back. I'm getting back to normal, but it's gradually coming slow.
Well, you can only go one day at a time. You cannot go multiple days at a time, and if you could, I don't think you would want to.
Oh no, I wouldn't want to. I mean, no. And I get to see the doctor on the late July the 30th. So that's when I had the surgery. So it's gonna be a whole year. But he told me it's gonna take a year and something for my knee to heal, and it's doing its own thing. It's healing, but it's doing it in its own time.
As it's
And I'm
supposed to.
and guess what? I'm with it. So I'm with that. So
Very
whatever
good.
it takes, whatever time it takes for me to get back to where I used to be, I will be.
Well, that sounds wonderful to me. But we gotta take this break here, so you make sure you stay tuned. And it's Bad Churn Wednesday. We're gonna have the docs on. They want to talk about some things with immunizations. So make sure you keep it locked. All right.
All right. Can I be a bad children?
You are a bad children. You don't have to ask for permission. You've been doing it so long as I've known you. So yeah, this is where we are.
This is where we are. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I will talk to you later, Kim.
All
Have a
right.
great
Talk to you
day.
later,
Bye,
Elwin.
Kim.
Bye, Elwin. You listen to the Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
On Auto Trends with JeffCars.com, here's a snippet of some of what we cover. GPS pioneer Gladys West.
We worked long hours computing trajectory orbits and satellite orbits, trying to get the data and everything correct enough.
Auto analyst Mark Bland.
14 new vehicle deals that happen in this country out of every 100 that women don't have a fingerprint on.
To tune in, check out Auto Trends with JeffCars.com, Saturdays at 4 p.m. on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Daryl Forgis with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. This morning, we're working to get more information on a deadly shooting in Mid-City. Police tell us this happened around 8 o'clock last night on South Hennessy near Bawden Street. Police say when they got to the scene, they found a man shot at least once. He later died. No word yet on a motive or if any arrests have been made. Now, this comes as a man is recovering this morning after a shooting in Algiers. Police say it happened around 8 o'clock last night on General Meyer near Solon Place. He was later taken to the hospital. Call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111 if you have any information that can help police in either of these two shootings. Today, community activists will meet with New Orleans Sewage and Water Board to discuss the sewage leak in the Dwyer Canal. It comes after an independent study of the canal by a resident revealed multiple leaks, sewage discharge, and the release of hydrogen sulfide. The board read that report and said it was working on a plan to address the issue. After today's meeting, community members are invited to a Zoom meeting to talk with residents. And a new trial date has been set for the 5 suspects accused in the hazing death of Caleb Wilson. Isaiah Smith, Kyle Thurman, Caleb Cray, Winston Sanders, and Jaden Landrum pleaded not guilty back in January. Wilson, 20 years old, died in February of last year after being punched in the chest with a boxing glove and an unsanctioned Omega Psi Phi fraternity pledging ritual. Since his death, Southern University has expelled the fraternity. The new trial date will now take place on August 19th. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK. Have a great
How
day.
we help each other shows what kind of world we want to live in, and the smallest actions together speak the loudest. So, what kind of world do you want to live in? Give NOLA Day is May 7th. Early giving starts April 23rd. Make a donation today at givenola.org.
City Park is where to go when you don't know where to go. Turn towards the city center and start walking. Before long, you'll end up where you belong, at the heart of the city, New Orleans City Park. Stroll along the reeded marsh, wander through the sculpture garden, rest and recharge beneath ancient oak trees. This is where your spirit goes to grow. It's in our nature to yearn for nature. NewOrleansCityPark.org, heart of the city.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. You're on the front porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back to the Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree, and on the other side of the glass are Jared and Jasmine, or Jasmine and Jared. It is Bad Churn Wednesday, and we will be hearing from the docs on today to talk about some things with the vaccination schedule. I need you guys to be paying attention to what's happening in healthcare, because it's been a lot of misnomers, a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and it is in an effort to, I feel, to reduce the population in some respects. I don't know if that's the case, but it is a lot going on. And thank you, Cam, for sending me the link that says Supreme Court rules on Voting Rights Act and here's arguments over temporary protected status. Cam, if you have a chance or if you have a moment to call in and talk about, like, what does that actually mean and how does that impact us? I mean, I can read it through here, but you have a little more extensive background and the legalese and what is being said, because I want to know so that I can share information that's accurate. And I know for a fact this is not my wheelhouse necessarily. I mean, I can report on it, but I definitely would like to share some information that is rooted in substance, and also gonna get some more people who are in offices that serve our communities, not just the Orleans Parish municipality, but we need to start hearing from some of the people who are in elected offices and even some in appointed offices to see what it is and how their office actually works. Um, some people still don't have a really good idea of how uh, government in the three branches and what falls under the three branches. And I know my memory from time to time may slip uh, about like aligning the pieces on the organizational chart in the correct places all the time. However, my basic understanding of the three branches of federal government and of state government as well, and this peculiar setup of government here in Orleans Parish. But yeah, Cam, if you have if you have a chance to call in, I'd like to hold that topic until I have somebody who's actually able to discuss that with with the verve that I do not have. I know for sure. But I wanted to talk to you guys, and we're going to talk about a couple things happening in our community with this political environment, the um, with the moves that government is making right now within the municipality of Orleans, in Jefferson Parish and parishes beyond, but also in state government and federal government, and how not showing up to put people who you know you'd have a better chance with working on your behalf versus staying home, throwing your vote away, or just not participating at a home or voting for someone who you know for a fact is going to work against you. 504-582-9422. Good morning, Pop Jones.
Good morning, Kim.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. I've been hearing you're having a wonderful time for your birthday.
I am still having a wonderful time for my birthday.
Yeah. Well, look, I wanted to ask you this before. Is Grilla coming in tomorrow?
I don't know.
See, it set me up. Come in.
I think he is. Okay, Jared is saying yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, he set me up to come out here to find out just what he wanted me to do. I know he told me he wanted to bring some of my stuff.
Yes, for the jazz segment. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. No, so he'll be here. Jared said yes, he absolutely will be here tomorrow.
What time? What do you want me to show?
I think Jared, you gonna work that out on Jared will work out the time. I don't want to give you the schedule because I don't have it in front of me right now. But don't hang up and let them let you know. But when we get ready to hang up, don't hang up. Get that information.
Can I comment?
Yes, absolutely.
On a couple of things that you were talking
about. Absolutely.
First of all, I think it's very important that if anybody that's going to doctors on a regular, to question doctors about their treatment.
Okay.
You may not have experienced that.
No, say that one more time, Pop.
I think it's important if you're going to doctors on a regular and you're getting treatment, it's important that you question them about the treatment that they're giving you.
Yeah, you should always.
Yes, yeah. Because just like your man says, a lot of times, I don't know, I'm not in a person's mind. They want to do things for maybe financial reasons. I hate to say that. I don't know what is. You have to question because they could be doing something like I go to the VA, and I certainly question doctors about certain things, and I have found that they will agree with me on certain things that I've asked them. So I think that's a very good thing to question them.
Absolutely. Not just to question for the sake of questioning, but to get information about what it
Right.
is the plan is, or like how will this intervention impact me? I think it's important for you to have
Right,
charge
right,
over
right.
your care, especially if you are supposed to maintain what it is that they're telling you that you need to do. I think that it's only right that you ask
Yeah, see, like for instance, if you taking medicine, a lot of the doctors don't believe in taking certain natural treatments. And some things that you can take, I know for a fact that can work in your behalf. And some of them don't believe in taking active treatment. And there are others that do.
So
a lot of times you have to ask them questions concerning that.
yeah, and you have to ask questions because it can't be a one or the other. A lot of people, when they get sick or diagnoses, they tend to want to go a homeopathic path that may not be serving the level of intervention that's needed. And I'm not saying don't use homeopathic or um like very ancient practices, but if that's your resolve for something that needs real like heavy intervention, I think that it is irresponsible to only take one pathway and put your family at risk of losing you.
Yeah, so in other words, you just don't want to just try anything that's foolish
Right.
that might work against you or work
And some of the
against your medical
homeopathic stuff, the
treatment.
natural stuff can interact with the medicine that's actually trying to
Right,
do the
right. You have
intervention.
to be very careful.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, with that. Uh-huh. And what was the other subject, Kim?
What else did I talk about this morning? I
You
talked
was
about
talking about
the eaglets. I talked about well, Cam's on the other line to talk about the Supreme Court striking down or though they're hearing the arguments over temporary protected status of the Voting Rights Act. Cam is on hold to talk about that.
Voting Rights Act. Okay, see, I've always had a problem. My thinking about voting is completely different from a lot of people, I guess, because I'm an old timer and we have to fight so hard to get in the vote. And I know I see for myself, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I see for myself, I'm looking at Virginia.
Uh-huh.
Right in Virginia, a place where I was stationed at when I was in the military as a very young teenager, that Western Mississippi, the officials, like the captain in Newport News, he treated the soldiers like dirt. So they were able to get by with that kind of stuff. Now, Virginia is a completely turn around different place. Now, they got more military, I think, bases in Virginia, Army, Navy, Air Force, all that. I think Virginia might be one of the most have more military installations than any state in a country.
Mm-hmm.
And so those people got a Democratic governor, and I think Washington is very upset with her and her people's decisions that they're making.
But it is everybody was screaming states' rights, right? So if the state is showing you that that's what they want, then why are you mad?
Well, you know the answer to that.
Of course. Listen, Pop, I want to get Cam while she's on the line because she's going to break down some of that
Okay.
information for us. But if you got another question, don't forget, just call me back, okay?
All right.
All right, Pop. Good talking to you.
All right.
Later. Hey, Cam.
Good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to catch you before you get tied up in reading a brief or doing something else.
Before I get real busy.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I think most of us are aware that states around the country are trying to address their congressional districts.
Uh-huh.
And this morning, so apparently there was a new congressional map in the state of Louisiana that was drawn up in early 2024.
Uh-huh.
So we're talking 2 years or so ago.
Yes.
And that map added a second black and Democratic lawmaker to what obviously is primarily Republican congressional delegation for the state of Louisiana. So as of today, the Supreme Court, not the Supreme Court,
Supreme Court.
not the state Supreme Court.
You're talking
Yes,
about
we're talking about the folks on the Hill.
Yes,
the Supreme Court today tossed out this because this congressional map obviously has been long contested between Republicans and Democrats in the state of Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
And so this is what gives me pause. And I'm going to read the opinion, which I haven't had time to read obviously this morning to read, but they tossed it out on the basis that this congressional map that added this second district that was, primary with a black representative.
Yes.
Was called an unconstitutional gerrymander.
How can you say that when you were trying to reduce the?
You're trying exactly. They're doing their own form of gerrymandering, and it just in the opposite direction.
Right.
Yeah, so the Supreme Court, they tossed it out as unconstitutional. And, of course, we know that is going to weigh heavily on this year's midterm and national elections.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And so when they try to take political advantage, it's not gerrymandering. But apparently when other folks try to take political advantage, then it's a problem.
And what gives me, like, the anger about that statement you just made is
the gall.
The gall and the fact that as independents and Democrats and Republicans don't call a thing and say,
right,
if you all get out of my face with this bull Swiss. Because
that's right.
If you're saying that it shouldn't be advantageous for one, then how is it you, the passable one, that it can be advantageous for?
So they're going to retake now that they've gotten this ruling. The other folks are going to attempt to redraw these district lines. That district probably will not exist, and neither will its representative. And yes, I must say this. The opinion for this, which I am going to read, was written by Justice Alioto.
Mm-hmm. And
the decision was 6-3, with the liberal justices dissenting.
Yeah.
So we know who the 6 are, and we know who the 3 are.
Correct. And I again remember when President Obama they leaned into him for him not to choose a Supreme Court justice. Because he was getting ready to leave, and he abided by that, only to have somebody follow behind him and, get other justices that are injurious to us, and then also can't lean off the fact that Ruth Bader Ginsburg should have acquiesced, so that we could have gotten somebody in there, and while she passed on. And we missed an opportunity where there, like the blame has to fall where the blame has to fall, and the fact that we play by rules that they definitely knock over the chessboard in the middle of the game is we got to stop doing this. Like we have to actually get into the fight and stop playing diplomacy because they don't care.
No, they not at all. Not at all. But guess what? We have to care. and we have to make our voices heard.
And we
Bottom
got to get
line.
in the game because that
They're
whole
pushing
idea
they're
of
pushing us out. They're pushing us out of the room.
yeah, and if we are consistent in not supporting candidates because I don't agree with what this candidate said. I mean, there's no candidate that I think is perfect. And actually, the office that we're trying to get somebody in to make some good choices in, some of the choices that they have to make, some of the decisions you're not gonna agree with, but putting people in harm's way by removing health care, by removing subsidies. The fact that farmers have put themselves in this conundrum where they have nobody to work the areas, work the fields that they have, and also the cost of their supplies have gone up. Y'all did that to yourselves, all following white ideology as it's better. And I have never seen a less smart president in the history of my life that I paid attention to what presidents have said. And y'all put this man in office because you thought he was going to stick it to the coloreds.
But you put him in office because of his color of his skin and his gender. I might add, though, that Justice Kagan, her opinion, her dissenting opinion, basically, she added that, and this is sad. This is a sad state of affairs for our country. This latest chapter, meaning the ruling in this case, this latest chapter in the majority's now completed demolition of the Voting Rights Act. This is just another chip away at what they're doing to demolish the Voting Rights Act. So we people wake up. Wake up.
Get in the game. Get in
Wake
the game.
up.
Because if you don't, when the rights are removed, you're going to be putting your children and your grandchildren back in the spaces of your grandparents and great-grandparents of having to protest and fight and be bitten and dogs sicked on them and hoses. You're going to see a repetition of that because y'all were too lazy to show up and be bothered.
Yeah, we need to really pay attention to what we're facing when we don't vote, what we're facing when we don't speak up. We need to really, really, really understand that the goal here is to bring the Voting Rights Act to an all-time low. All-time low. That's what they're after. Because our rights to vote and things like that they're going to be taken away from us, and they're going to slip away.
And it's
we're
not
gonna wake
just
up.
the black and white; it's women too.
It's women
they
too.
They don't want us to vote.
No.
And I have some other conversations about how black men treat black women while undoing the support that they said they want from us. Because this ties into even more so the attack on Justice Ketanji Jackson, but also additional conversations when women are in leadership and how men, when I say fumble women in leadership that are working on their behalf, all because y'all are going with your gender versus the support that you most certainly would be getting. So,
but we need to pay attention because this court's decision this morning is going, and I'm quoting Justice Kagan, will set back the foundational right Congress granted of racial equality in electoral opportunity. And then she said, "I dissent." From this morning's the ruling this morning, because they're trying to take away electoral, equality and opportunity for everyone, male, female, gay, straight, whoever. That's the goal.
They're trying to return it back to white male property owners, which
and they want
white people don't understand. If you're not a property owner, this does not support you at all.
I know it does not. It does not. It really does not. And it's sad. It's a sad state of affair. But we've got to wake up and we got to get with the business, our own business.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Sora. I'm glad you were able to call before the phone started ringing off the hook, and I appreciate you taking the time to break this down. And maybe we'll try and screen record some of this and get this on the socials because it's time. Y'all,
time.
you don't
It's
have
time.
time to sit this out. You cannot ride
Nope.
the bench on this one.
Nope, not at all.
Absolutely.
Well, y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much. Have a good
Bye-bye.
one. You listen to the Front Porch here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today is a WDSU First Warning Weather Impact Day. We are looking at some storms arriving a little later on for today. So most of Wednesday is actually going to stay on the dry side. We'll see highs today into the mid to upper 80s, very close to 90 for a lot of us. And then as we are getting into about 5 p.m., that's when storms will start to roll in. Any of those could be strong to severe, lasting through Thursday morning. For the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hey, this is D. Riley from the 90s Hits R&B Jams. Make sure you listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday night from 7 until 9 p.m. I'll be giving you the best R&B jams from the 90s. That's right, all your favorites and more. With me, D. Riley, your host of the 90s Hits, right here on WBOK 1230 AM. Or listen online at WBOK1230.com. WBOK, the station you listen to longer.
Join the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation as it brings the island vibes of Jamaica to Generations Hall at the 2026 Jazz and Heritage Gala on Wednesday, April 22nd from 7 till 10 p.m. One love, one music, one people presents an electric evening supporting music, education with iconic performances by the Wailers featuring Julia Marley, Big Sam's Funky Nation, and the Don, Moose Jameson's Heritage School of Music All-Stars featuring Deacon John. Visit jazzandheritagegala.com for more information.
Welcome to Chemical of the Month from the Community Scientist and Rise St. James. This month's focus is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs, formed when fuels like oil, gas, wood, or trash are burned. These chemicals can enter the air we breathe and settle into our soil and water. Many PAHs are known carcinogens, adding to the health burdens faced by communities living near industry. Learn how to protect your health at risestjames.org.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
This is The Law and Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton.
If you had $1 million, would you leave it to an 18-year-old?
Hopefully not, but that's exactly what can happen with a simple will. The money goes straight to your kids when they hit the legal age, no guardrails.
A trust lets you control when and how they receive their inheritance. You can set ages, milestones, or even make sure they finish school first.
Give them security, not a spending spree.
This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
You're on the Front Porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back to the Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree, and on the other side of the glass is Jared. I think Jasmine is off doing something or other. I don't know. Y'all do a lot over there. Thank you, and always thank you for what it is that you do for us on this side of the glass. But thank you so much, Cam, for calling in and giving some information and insight on what's being done in the areas of government. You know, I don't know how many people engage in just the fodder about politics and actually go into the policies. I'm not a person who is going to do like I'm not going to look for the opinions of judges and things of that nature. When it's time for me to vote, though, I read through the amendments that are available. I read through the verbiage, and if I don't understand it, I ask somebody. That is what I do so that I can be informed when I go to the polls. But I don't know how many people actually do that. I hope that more people will start to get engaged with doing so, because going in and not having a voting plan is not even kind of silly. It's like goofy. It's irresponsible. So you should be knowing who you're going in to vote for. And I know a lot of people vote party lines. I can say that I have voted for at least 2 Republican candidates in my voting lifetime. It was mainly because the person who was running in the Democratic Party for that particular seat, I had seen firsthand that person was shysty and no, I don't want you representing me, right? But this was far before the Trumpians and the trumpets came about, because I've been voting for a long time now. But yeah, I don't know how many people are actually taking an active role in the candidates that they vote for. I know that oftentimes people vote based on color, they vote based on party, and I think you should be looking a little further into those people's careers. And here in New Orleans, we vote based on color, which is insane. Insane. But we'll get into some more gender conversations, because I have some things that I want to talk to the black men about, black men in our community. And before you get your tidy whities or your boxers in a bunch, sit with what I'm going to ask you and sit with what I'm going to say. And let's have a discussion around it, because we have a problem with patriarchy, religion, stupidity, and gender roles. And we're going to talk a little bit about that on the other side of this break. You listen to the Front Porch here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Los Angeles police are stepping up patrols and adding mobile surveillance in Studio City after a spike in home invasions. Aaron Sias with ACS Security.
We have provided information, footage, license plates to LAPD that have actively assisted in their investigations.
A new AI-powered camera unit is now operating near Ventura Boulevard as the city boosts security. An audit at HBCU North Carolina A&T found $5 million in financial aid was wrongly awarded to ineligible recipients with ties to former officials. Several leaders have left the university,
that, and the third. And when as soon as you get in front of other men, you start backpedaling and coochie popping.
But that says a lot about that individual man.
Right,
That
but
dude
as
there.
a unit, what stands out is the latter, not the former.
Well, we could do that on both species. So both
No,
genders.
yeah.
But
Listen,
on
I'm
both
not
genders.
going to say one without the other, but you cannot ignore it and jump to the other without sitting in the one.
I be wanting you to have that real time talk with grilling so you can set things right with you, let you know, hey man, all
But
of us
he's going to
ain't
give
them
me his
dudes.
perspective like you are as an individual. He's not going to give me a broad sweep because he can't. Because he also knows men who backpedal and coochie pop just like the ones I'm talking about. So I'm talking about as a unit, right? Last week, we heard about 3 black women, a black child who was discovered in a singer's trunk after being murdered. He had been having sex with her. When she was 14, and she was discovered when she was 15 in his trunk. That's one.
Right?
I'm not finished. Then you had the assistant governor, I think it was, who was killed by her husband. Okay. Then we have another male, albeit white male, kill this girl over in Tanzania, and nobody ever seems to want to sit that a lot of the violence comes from men. Not saying that women aren't violent, because I have some violent tendencies my own self. But as a unit, Josh, you cannot tell me that a lot of the violence, and the violence particularly against women, comes from men. It's not from other women. And in addition to this, this is my other part. My other part that I want to add to this, when I say that men don't like women, the first thing y'all do to make each other or tell each other or make each other feel less than, you call them something related to being a woman. So that in of itself is something y'all got to sit with, because I know I'm not wrong on that. Now, men individually, I can't paint everybody with the same brush. But men as a generality, absolutely. A hit dog definitely can holler because it's hitting y'all as a unit.
Those fools you talk of is the thumb of the hand, not the fingers. Leave the fingers out of this. Talk to them thumbs. We can't do nothing about them.
But
that's
it's actually a thumb and a couple fingers, because honestly,
it's terrible male
Josh,
human behavior. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, we
right.
are a
So
violent
we cannot say that. We cannot say and let it be skipped that men cause violence. Matter of fact, the dude sitting in the president's office is causing global violence.
Yes, most wars are mostly all wars are started by men. Yeah, we are a violent gender.
So when we have these conversations, it's like it's gaslighting to jump to something else without sitting in this.
What can we do to rectify that matter?
Check your boys. Check your boys. When you see dudes that's getting out of pocket, nah, bro, we don't do that.
Afraid of them dudes too. You don't think those dudes be afraid of them? That's what the problem is. They be scared of them partners.
So the man who is afraid of checking another man cannot lead women how they demand to be leading the household. If you not willing to stand toe to toe with another man who could be a threat to your person and or your family, you can't lead nothing just because you're male.
But unfortunately though, Kimber, they will always have those men in leadership. And those men not really acquire, but they build a sanctuary to protect them with other weaker men. That weaker men will protect them like a woman does with their pimp. And it's nothing we can do about it. It's been like that since the beginning of the dawn of time.
It don't have to stay like that, Josh. And again, what I'm saying about this,
change our circle in our arenas.
What I'm saying about this, Josh, is for the men and all men who have phalluses feel as if they need to be in a space of leadership. But if you can't stand toe to toe with other men who are telling you something that you're telling me you believe in, you can't lead nothing. You should not be at the helm of nothing because you gotta.
Yeah.
I have to find my words, but your heart beat pure.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
Let's talk about
don't be beating your
But they
chest
be
talking
con
about
artists, though, Kimber. They
what
con
women,
artists.
what
We
women, what
don't
women
know.
when you not fit to do the job that you say you want to have.
But they con artists, though. You know, they con them guys, and them guys be believing they are what they say they are. They con artists. So even men get conned, like women. We get conned also. And those dudes have built this ability to trick and fool society that do. Not only another man will look at another man and say, nah, that boy ain't like that. He ain't really like that. But he's not in my vicinity, so there's nothing I can do about it. In my vicinity, I could fix it. Outside of my vicinity, what can I do?
So, like I said, individually, I can't paint everybody with the same brush. But as a unit, I absolutely can. I absolutely can.
Yeah, you could. And I'll be the one I agree with you. We are a violent gender. Is that violence cultivated? At some point, it is. It's cultivated. It can be inbred inside that individual to believe that he has to be that way. Mentally, it could be done. So it could be reasoning for these fools to be out here. They could have been made to be fools like this, to be violent like this. Trump probably was made to be the idiot he is.
But it's not. It's not just Trump. It's not just Trump, right? It is a cross of religion and what is presented. And I'm gonna say this in that pastors, women, you have to submit to your husband. Okay. So who do we pick? Oh, you pick a man. All these men what makes them worth anything other than the fact that they're a male? Oh, he got a good job. Is that the bar by which we're gonna say you're a good man? Go to hell. And especially in the black neighborhood, I know you've heard people say this probably even about you. Girl, that's a good man. He got a good job. And
yes.
You got
but
money, and so what?
But that's coming from another woman, though. You can hear nothing but a real man. Like if you introduce a sucker to your real guys like Dr. Turner, Grill, and all them, and you don't know he's a sucker, but they will tell you, nah, that dude's a sucker. Nah, that dude ain't what he say he portray himself to be.
And I know that
we can eyeball it. Like women will look at the outer part. Some women will look at the outer part and say, "Yeah, he drive this, he wear this, he look like this, and that's a good catch."
Right.
And
to your point, Josh, who else does that too? Women.
Yeah.
It's a human thing. But where the line of delineation is, on average, who commits most of the violence?
Yeah, we do. Like I told you, we are bred some in our genetic gene pool could turn us into this.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. It's definitely a choice, but it could cultivate you this. If you're a young man who's been up around this type of violence all your life, you're going to grow into an adult that does this too. Now you're right. You have a choice not to do or do so, but some choose the other. They're not to do part. So it's so many iterations on how to make a terrible man. And I think it's too much to fix. Unless you just straight up, you know witchcraft. You can do your witchcraft.
That don't have anything to do with anybody's placements. It's just the idea and the behavior. I'm gonna give you this point, right? A lot of dudes, a lot of men. The first thing, if they get into a verbal altercation with a woman, when they can't best the woman, they be ready to hit. That's
female
violent.
trait. That's a female trait, dude. That's a female, because men don't do this. Men do not have these
But how
words.
do we distinguish between a male and a man? Because they look the same.
By his actions, like I just told you, a man that has woman characteristics is going to hit that woman because she hit him mentally where he don't like to be hit. A man, first of all, is not going to do this verbal jousting with a woman. He's not going to do this. He's not. You can, even with your own husband, I'm guaranteeing you, your husband is not going to sit up here and go back and forth with you over some craziness. He's going to let you have it.
So, honestly, part of the reason why he is my husband and the one I actually married is because he could have the debate And if he was frustrated in the moment, which is usually me, I'm the one who needs to calm down because he's very level-headed. But he'll notice that I'm not in the space that I can have not a non-emotional, but a reduced emotional conversation. Yeah. He'll give me the space to calm down because it's me. But I have had conversations with men who I'm quick on my feet, and I'm going to stick to the point that we originally talked about. Don't keep moving the goalpost on me. I'm going to hold you to the fire. And oftentimes, because men will try to use the things that they consider to be degenerative of women to start talking about. Yeah. Part of the reason why I don't have to get into conversations with men like that is because, one, I'm already married, so you can't tell me that that's why no man gonna want you. Two, I'm cute and I'm low-key fine. So you can't say that don't nobody want me.
You better talk to Elwin. You more than low-key to Elwin now. Don't do this.
But I'm saying in the same space, I will debate and go back and forth with you on actual facts. Yeah. But how you feel about something, if I'm pointing to you that this is the thing and now you can't beat me with words, the fact that the next thing that you do is use your body proximity to stand in my space to shut me up. And go to hell, boo, or duck, because, you stand too close to me, you're going to have a problem.
You sit next to a 15-degree black man every day. And you know Grellin is not going to use them words. He going to tell you, I'm not about to do this with you because you're going to make me a fool like you. I'm not doing this with you. But a childish, feminine man is going to try to out-talk you. That's when you know you're in the
How do we determine who's who? Because in a lineup, male.
I just told you. His action's going to show you.
That don't show on the meeting. So that's what I'm saying. The bar is set that's low. And we also need black men to fix, not just black men in general, but I mean, I know the whites, whatever, that's not my project. But black men need to start checking black men for real on their behaviors and holding women accountable on their actions as well. But what is happening right now in the media is not accountability. It is victimization and pointing the finger, all while ignoring the bad behaviors of their own gender.
Yeah, you're right. And it's on both sides. Right? I don't have to tell you to help you out on identify the two. It's plain and simple. It's black and white. If that man wants to pop his mouth word for word with you, that boy's a woman. And he's been raised by women, and that's a woman's way. A woman's going to have the last word.
So if it's a woman's way, then why so many men resort to, one, engaging in an argument, and two, when they can't win it, they want to fight because women are not teaching them that. Women aren't teaching them that. It's being reinforced by the demonstration of men outside.
And I guarantee you, the men that does that do not hang with real guys. They don't hang with stand-up dudes.
But they hang with men who reinforce their bad behavior. You see what I'm saying?
They find like-minded persons like themselves to hang with. You know, that's what they do. They attract who they are. So they find like-minded, weaker men to validate their actions. They don't find men that'll give them pushback. If you do give him pushback, he's going to call you a hater. And he's going to try to distance himself from you. It was when we was growing up. If we had a partner that was doing something, man, stop you acting like a woman, man. Stop all that.
And that's you heard what you just said, Josh?
Yeah.
You didn't tell him he was being a buster. You feminized him, and that is how we know you don't like women.
That's a bad trait to have for a man to have. You should not have the same energy as a woman.
But the fact is, you relegated him to women versus saying he's being a jackass, which lets us know y'all really don't like us. That's my point, Josh. You gotta pay attention to the words that y'all do. Y'all use.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to down women. I'm just telling them that.
But did you hear what you said?
I understand what you're saying. What you're saying may be true, and I might have to change my wording on that. But that's the word we use to correct a man to let him know you're not acting like a man right now. You're not acting like a man.
We got some work to do. We got some work to do. And I got to take this break here. You can call me back.
All right.
All right. You're listening to The Front Porch, and I'm here for this conversation. I am loving the dialogue, and we really have to start having some conversations. And I know it's going to be uncomfortable, but the only way to get to it is go through it. The number here is 504-582-9422, and we're going to take this break. You listen to The Front Porch here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks
And Kimber White Dupree
from The Front Porch.
Some combos are too good to miss. Now you can pull up a chair to The Front Porch anytime.
Just search WBOK Media and subscribe to The Front Porch Podcast.
Download, share, and hit us with a 5-star rating because New Orleans culture deserves to be heard loud and clear.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Daryl Forgis with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. This morning, we're working to get more information on a deadly shooting in Mid-City. Police tell us this happened around 8 o'clock last night on South Hennessy near Bawden Street. Police say when they got to the scene, they found a man shot at least once. He later died. No word yet on a motive or if any arrests have been made. Now, this comes as a man is recovering this morning after a shooting in Algiers. Police say it happened around 8 o'clock last night on General Meyer near Solon Place. He was later taken to the hospital. Call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111 if you have any information that can help police in either of these two shootings. Today, community activists will meet with New Orleans Sewerage and Water Board to discuss the sewage leak in the Dwyer Canal. It comes after an independent study of the canal by a resident revealed multiple leaks, sewage discharge, and the release of hydrogen sulfide. The board read that report and said it was working on a plan to address the issue. After today's meeting, community members are invited to a Zoom meeting to talk with residents. And a new trial date has been set for the 5 suspects accused in the hazing death of Caleb Wilson. Isaiah Smith, Kyle Thurman, Caleb Cray, Winston Sanders, and Jaden Landrum pleaded not guilty back in January. Wilson, 20 years old, died in February of last year after being punched in the chest with a boxing glove and an unsanctioned Omega Psi Phi fraternity pledging ritual. Since his death, Southern University has expelled the fraternity. The new trial date will now take place on August 19th. I'm Daryl Forgis, and that's your headlines for WBOK. Have a great day.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
The Ron Kelly Show. Real talk, bold truth. Tune in for your weekly dose of unapologetic conversations that don't dodge the truth or dilute the message. Stay informed on the issues that matter most on The Ron Kelly Show, every Monday at 7 p.m. on WBOK 1230 AM.
Transform your bathroom with the beautiful quality of Bath Planet. As a trusted leader in bathroom renovation, Bath Planet has earned the Good Housekeeping Seal, a symbol of quality and consumer confidence for over 100 years. Get half off installation or 18 months with no interest and no payments. Whether it's tub replacement, a shower replacement, or a tub-to-shower conversion, Bath Planet makes your custom bath fast, easy, and affordable. Here's how it works. 1. Call to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. 2. Our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3. Our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months with no interest and no payments. But you need to call now. This special offer is only available by calling 800-981-8177. That's 800-981-8177. Call 800-981-8177 right now before the offer ends.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. You're on the Front Porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back to the Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree, and on the other side of the glass is Jared. I did tell you guys that Jasmine has gone to class. It is the end of the semester. Everybody should be wrapping things up, and we should be hearing from Kennedy because she is a pre-alum that will soon be an actual alum on May 9th as she graduates from Xavier University of Louisiana. Super excited about all the things going on. 504-582-9422. Hello, Elwin.
Hey, look, I'm not taking up for Josh, but there are some women that like that violence thing because, let me say it this way. That's how my knee got damaged.
You in a fight club, Elwin?
Huh?
Let's say, were you in a fight club or something?
No, I was living with a female, and I had moved back here from Shreveport. She couldn't conceive, so after she couldn't conceive, I brought her to my male doctor, and he told her where to go, because she was dealing with endometriosis. All right. And when he told her where to go, and she got the surgery that she needed, she told this friend of mine that she wanted me out of the house. And this friend got her boyfriend to come over. And I went to school with him years ago. We got into it. He pushed me down the steps. And that's how my knee got damaged.
So it sounded like you had an interaction with another man on behalf of a woman, but it sounded like you was tussling with a guy, not the woman.
Yes, not the woman. No, but the two women pushed him up to doing it.
But who actually did it? Because remember, men are leaders, right? He made a choice, didn't he?
Right. He made a choice, but the choice he made now, so your karma is catching up. He's dealing with a stroke now.
And that's fine, but again, he made the choice to get involved there.
Right. That's how my knee got damaged.
Yeah. So I see that you had an issue with a woman. She sought resolve by getting somebody to cause you issue, but who actually carried it out? The man.
Right. But
so again, that's proving my point. Who activated the violence? He did, because he made that choice.
But it was hard to brought. It was hard. It was
who made him do it? Who made him do it? He made him do it.
Right, but it was the two females activated the idea.
So what you're saying is those women had control over him, i.e. women have control over men. That's what you're telling me. And as a man, I should have control over you, right?
They had control over him for him to
But a thing got to be a thing all the time.
Right.
So either he has control of himself or men are controlled by other people.
I don't think he had control of himself because one, it was a female thing with him.
And what does that even mean, Elwin? This again is a man making a decision. Aren't y'all supposed to be the smartest, the strongest, and all of that? So what you're saying is your kind is not smart and strong. You is not important.
Well, I can't say my kind because I'm different. Okay, I don't deal in women violence. I don't. I've never believed in men hitting women or men doing things to women.
People should keep their hands to themselves.
I agree with you on that. And when they get in the altercation or they get into an argument, one should be bigger than the other one and say, I'll go to the next room, I'll go take a ride, I'll go take a walk somewhere and cool off. And then when they come back, things,
So in other words, grown-ups should have control over themselves.
That's correct.
So in other words, adults have free will and control over themselves, and some make choices that are not conducive with that, is what you're saying, because nobody made him do anything.
No, nobody didn't. But they act, like I say, they put the idea in his head.
Maybe he just didn't like you. Maybe he wanted to move in. Maybe he needed somewhere to sleep, and so he saw you in the way and decided to capitalize on it.
Yeah, but he had another girlfriend, though. He had a girlfriend.
That's neither here nor there. He
Right,
made
but-
the choice to engage with you that resulted in the injury that we are talking about and dealing with now, which I think
Right.
is unfortunate. However, nobody made him do that.
No, nobody made him do that but him.
Correct.
He thought it was easy to get me out of the way, but it worked. In some ways it didn't, because the young lady got pregnant for another guy, and the other guy had a wife and 2 children. And the other guy died on her. So, and she was left to send the baby with her other female friend up there in Texas to take care of the baby. And now the baby should be about 23, 24 years old.
That
now.
is a grown
So,
person. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
like I said before.
but I'm saying some women like that kind of thing. Look, I have some people in my family that like that kind of thing, and
that like to be hit.
Yeah, they like the violence. And here's the thing: the husband, brother, did something to their 2 daughters. Okay, and it and the husband recently died, I think this year. So but the son, he passed away in jail because of he did that to somebody else's child, and he passed away in jail. So I'm just saying, some women like that kind of thing, and me personally, I don't like doing that, like I say, but some women like that kind of thing. It gets them going.
Yeah, I don't know so much about that, Elwin, but I am going to say this. If the same people who are saying that they are the biggest, the smallest, and all that others, I mean, like they are the incompetent, they're supposed to be the protectors and the providers, but they're also the abusers. You cannot put that on somebody else. And to answer somebody in the comments who said manipulation is powerful, many men have fallen victim to manipulation. Remember the apple? However, you have an Adam's apple, not me. So I don't know about that, because I don't believe that all of those stories are true. And in addition to that, if you're a weak man, just say so, because the responsibility of your actions has to fall on you.
And there are many men laying in the grave now because of that.
Because they made poor choices. Because I'm
Right.
not going to put your
they made poor
responsibility,
choices.
I'm not going to put that responsibility on somebody else. Nobody can make me do nobody else nothing. Nobody.
It has to be in your mind to do that.
You have to be somebody who is not in control of themselves to do that. Or somebody who has the idea that they want to cause an issue to someone else, regardless on if it's on somebody's behalf or not. That is something that you still are making a choice to do, Elwin. I'm not putting that on somebody else.
Well, I'm not saying, look, I'm just saying some women like that kind of thing, and some men does that kind of thing. But I'm not in that kind of class, because I don't do that kind of stuff. I mean, if I get in an argument with you, I'm going to go in the room, read a book, or do something different to, try to get my mind off of that, or, get away from it. I mean, I'm going through an issue now with my family, but it's going through another different kind of issue. But I've decided to back away from my family, to get away from that, to get away from them and back away from that, because that only leads to more, more violence. But I've never been violent with anybody. But I'm saying that leads to violence there. So I backed away from my family. I don't even speak to members of my family anymore because of a situation that's going down now. So
Sometimes you have to move people out of your space so you can have peace. I am definitely a supporter of that idea.
and that's what that's what I decided to do. I don't, I have no problem with not, with not speaking to them. I have no problems with not dealing with them. But I decided not to deal with them anymore for right now. I wouldn't say not not forever, but I've decided not to deal with them right now until they come around and meet me halfway. Okay, and I'll meet them halfway. But I'm not gonna retain the violence. No, because violence only leads you into more trouble. So, and I'm not a person that likes trouble.
Well, you don't like that kind of trouble.
Not that kind of trouble. I don't like going to jail. I've never been to jail in my life. Okay? My father told me this. He'd get me out of jail one time, and that's it. And I've never been to jail at all. So
Yeah.
I took his advice and never went to jail.
Good job.
So,
Good job. Well, good for you. All right. Well, I'm going to take a couple more calls before we take this next break. All right.
Okay.
All right, leader. There's a
Later.
comment on Instagram that says it's funny how those women who like violence don't run out in front of moving vehicles because they like violence. Call a thing a thing. And yeah, the abuse and the violence, yeah, heavily male. Y'all are violent toward each other. But honestly, like the things that we're seeing in the media is like, for real, y'all really don't like women at all. And it's unfortunate at all. Dwight says, you're very fortunate to have the strength and courage to be who you are, but many aren't as strong as you are. Situations are easy to talk about when not planted in your life. Well, guess what, Dwight? I am a survivor of domestic violence. Yes. Somewhere there's a file with my name on it and my face bloodied. So, yes, I can say that. It was that one time I called the police and that was it. Never, 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 ever to return. So, yeah. No, I have had the experience. And that's why I speak from the place that I am speaking from. As a matter of fact, I know that certain people are in the position that they can't leave those situations. Again, recognizing that violence against women happens oftentimes with men versus women. And is that to say that the men in my life have been all violent? No, but I can tell you that as a domestic violence survivor, it wasn't a girl. It wasn't a girl. It wasn't a woman. And also, I've never been in a partnership, a romantic partnership with a woman, but it wasn't a woman who bloodied my face. Okay? So let's consider that all of us aren't talking from observation. Many of us are talking from experience. All right? The number here is 504-582-9422. We're talking about the violence that happens in our communities that involve men, and not just white men, but men in general, for real. There needs to be a conversation about it. And again, does that mean all? No, but what does good men look like? And waiting for their behaviors over time isn't always enough, because there have been sexual assaults that often happen with women that men know they're in some sort of friendship or friendly type behavior. Women have been sexually assaulted that way. Family members, right? We talk about in our families. We'll tell young girls to go put some longer shorts on because Uncle such and such is coming over. While I don't want you walking naked in front of company, if Uncle such and such is coming over, or cousin such and such is coming over, and they're looking at their family member as if it is an opportunity for them to satisfy themselves, we got a problem. We got a problem. And again, does this mean that women have it all right and have the things all right. I'm absolutely not saying that. I am not. But domestic violence usually happens with men versus women. Is that the only place that it happens? No, I'm not gonna be silly and also just unrealistic because I know how numbers work. There are instances on same-sex violence that are in partnerships, domestic and romantic partnerships. However, if we go over to Korea, violence against women. If we go to Turkey, violence against women, specific violence against women. In Asia, we never really talked about the fact that Chinese families are only allowed to have one baby, or that's been the practice for a few decades, and that can be considered violent as well. And then if you don't have a girl, the girls get sent over to orphanages because the families need to have a boy to carry on the family name. Violence against women. In some Arab countries, if a man has gotten tired of his wife, he can throw acid on her, scar her, cause her harm. And it's okay because all the other guys go around and go, that's okay. It's fine. Africa, we have women who have been what they call circumcised, but basically their bodies have been disfigured, and many of them will not have an enjoyable sex experience because the men in their families feel as if sex should be a function and a woman should only be a receptacle for a man's pleasure. Hello? Violence against women. Committed by whom? Men. Hello? Anybody noticing a trend here? And again, every single man, every individual man? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But when we look up and we see about violence, who is it usually? School shooters. Usually who? Come on now. The numbers are the numbers. And it's unfortunate that it is sitting that way. And I understand that it may be uncomfortable to hear, but that is an issue. 504-582-9422 is the number here. If you have some comments that you want to share about the violence that exists in not just the Black community, but globally with violence that's committed by men against women. And don't move the goalposts, right? Don't move the goalposts. Stay and sit right here because this is a part of some of the conversation that we need to have. Because it's not right. Y'all know it's not right. And the way that communications and things are communicated, you got to know it's unfair. And if you have daughters, if you have mothers, if you have sisters, if you have aunties, if you have grandmothers, is it that you don't like women just in general, or you only feel as though the women that are connected to you deserve protection? I'm curious about that. We got to take this break. You're listening to the Front Porch here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today is a WDSU First Warning Weather Impact Day. We are looking at some storms arriving a little later on for today. So most of Wednesday is actually going to stay on the dry side. We'll see highs today into the mid to upper 80s, very close to 90 for a lot of us. And then as we are getting into about 5 p.m., that's when storms will start to roll in. Any of those could be strong to severe, lasting through Thursday morning. For the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Risha.
Hoops, Heat, The Truth, on demand. Ball Don't Lie is now live on all podcast platforms. Tap in, search WBOK Media, find Ball Don't Lie, and bring the fire with you wherever you go. Download, share, and leave that 5-star review, because the game doesn't stop when the show ends.
Looking for a great deal on your next phone? Come see us at your locally owned AT&T store for the latest Samsung and iPhones. Visit us at 3616 South Carrollton Avenue. We have great offers on watches, tablets, accessories, and internet service. Whatever your connectivity needs are, our team is here to help you keep connected. Visit us today at AT&T, 3616 South Carrollton Avenue. Locally owned and proudly giving back to the community.
Calling all Dillard University alumni near and far. It's time to come home to the Oaks. May 7th through May 9th, we're bringing the Blue Devil spirit back together, honoring milestone classes ending in 1s and 6s, and celebrating the legacy, the culture, and the connections that make Dillard unforgettable. Don't miss your chance to reconnect, reminisce, and relive the magic. Visit dillard.edu/reunion for details. May 7th through May 9th. The Oaks is calling, and we're coming home.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton.
When it comes to family planning, should you go with a will or a trust?
A will is like leaving instructions to the court. It tells them who gets what, but your family still has to go through a succession, which can be costly and time-consuming.
A trust, on the other hand, avoids court altogether. So when the time comes, everything transfers smoothly to your loved ones.
It's a little more work up front, but way less hassle and expense later. Plan smart, save time, and take care of your family.
This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
You're on the Front Porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back to the Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree, and on the other side of the glass is Jared, and we are talking about violence amongst the men towards the women. 504-582-9422. What's up, Mark?
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Great. Ma'am,
Kimber.
Could you tell me what the problem is? Why?
Kimber.
Could you tell me?
My name
Say that
is
again?
Kimber.
Kimber.
Kimber. Yes, good job.
Kimber, could you tell me the reason why the men act so violent?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what the cause of the violence is for men, because violence, for starters, is human. But why is the violence against the women? I don't know. Maybe you have some idea. I'm willing to listen.
Interesting. You know, all through time, you know, the mother and fathers always had, you know, children that rebelled against their principles, whatever their principle was. And if you look here in America, when we go back and say to the 60s or whatever, we look at the black guys who probably went out and started robbing banks, probably because they couldn't get money or whatever, right? And all of a sudden they wind up in jail. And then we have the other guys who probably didn't listen to their mom and dad. Well, it's the women didn't listen to their mom and dad. At one time, the mom and dad used to create the marriage. You know, look, you marry this guy or you marry this woman or whatever. That's no more. That's no longer. So everybody's on their own.
That should have never been.
What's that again?
That should have never been. Why are we prearranging marriages for people to stay in for the rest of their lives, and we don't have to live
not
their life?
It's not for us to say because everybody has their own values.
But
And I
it is
respect
for
your
us to
values.
say
I
because
respect your
this
values.
you get to share your views and participate. That's the whole purpose of being here in this particular country.
It all depends on the individual, and everybody has different values. And I respect your values, and I respect others' values. And we have to, learn how to respect each other's values. But now that doesn't cause for one to get violent, because we need to learn how to get along and respect one another. See, the biggest problem is disrespect. People going around disrespecting one another, and everybody responds to things differently. Now, we supposed to, guys, I know it ain't me, supposed to respond accordingly. Self-control, know when to walk off, leave it alone, that type of stuff. But they wasn't trained to respond in a productive way. They wasn't trained because they had rebelled against their parents, or they rebelled against just don't have no principles. See, we need principles, and we need to respect one another. See, that's the biggest key right there, respect. No one is respecting one another. Everybody disrespecting, figure they can say what they want, do what they want.
What does respect look like to you?
Interesting. Hey,
you're asking for everybody to respect each other. I'm asking, what does respect
it all
look
depends
like?
on the circumstances. It all depends on the circumstances.
We have to have a base level of what respect looks like if we're asking people to follow respect. So that's why I'm asking, what does respect look like? If you want a second to think about it and call me back, you're welcome to.
Well, no. I don't have to think about it, because respect comes on the point of when something happens. It all depends on how you responding to it. Like, let's take the drug dealer. How they not respecting one another, and they go and try to take somebody. Well, it's not your corner, but try to take somebody's corner. Well, you're not respecting that person's domain. You're not respecting that that little area. Which, if you were to put a little respect in there, it wouldn't be no bloodshed, and that way the police won't come.
So how does that help within our community or within relationships between men and women? Because that's the topic we're actually
we always talk about bringing the fathers back into the home. And if we can get the father, I hear something about the father round table, right? Which is a good thing. So if we can plant the seed or get back to the basics, which I don't think is going to happen, because America is really it's gone.
We have the power to work in our communities, and I really you're giving me a lot of generalizations. If you have a chance, if you could narrow down some specifics,
listen what I'm saying. Okay, in
that
my
would be
household,
helpful.
Everything is fine.
Everything
is not
fine.
I have a daughter. I have a granddaughter. I have a grandson.
Everything is not
and
fine.
In my family, it is.
Right.
That's
But
what I'm saying.
the question is, when you were saying about we need to respect each other, that goes beyond your house. My ask is,
daughter,
what are the specifics?
We talking at the same time. My daughter owned her own business, which I had trained my daughter from the age of 9 years old. Right? She went to Kennedy. And some of the girls who maybe listening to this station.
Mark, I appreciate the narrative. What I'm asking for you is a question to the solution that you're saying that we need. And you said the solution is that we have to get back to respect. The bottom line right now, I'm asking you, what does respect look like to you?
It's not about me.
No. If you're saying we need a thing, we need to explain to people what that looks like so that we know if we're all following that.
Ma'am, if you're asking me a question, Miss Kimberly, if you're asking me a question and it's already written, it's not about the way I see it. It's not about the way. It's not about the Bible.
No, sir. You lost me at that.
Bye-bye.
But thank you so much. My Lord. 504. Listen, fellas, and anybody who's calling in to hold a conversation, your words have to be tied to an actual thing. All these fairy tales and flower pots and clouds in the sky is not going to give us a solution. I am definitely open to having a conversation about reaching a solution, but giving me generalities is not an instruction book. And telling me to go to the Bible, especially not giving a scripture or something of reference, you're losing the plot. You're losing the plot. 504-582-9422. Hey, Pam.
Good morning, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't know. Well, I wasn't supposed to know, but when you shocked me when you told me that you were physically abused. Because when I look at you, I just think that if anything, you're gonna whoop somebody's. That's how I picture you. But see, that goes to show you can't judge a book by the cover.
You cannot.
And I was abused twice in relationships. The second one, I got the better of him at the end. But abuse is, to me, when a person can't keep control of themselves and their character. And when it happened to me, I did not expect this person at all, the second person that abused me, at all. I didn't see it coming. I was walking away from the argument because I saw it was going nowhere. And as I walked away, he came from behind me and just punched me round, like a roundhouse punch, straight to my head and eye. And I still have bone. The doctor said I'm just going to have to live with that because going in there could cause more damage. It's in my brow, my right brow area, and I could still feel it. And he knocked me out. All I remember was getting up slowly off the floor. I could see it like it happened today.
Yeah, you don't
Slowly
forget it.
off the. No, you don't. And I was getting up slowly off the floor, you know, dazed a little bit, but trying to get my balance. And he said, "You want another one?" And baby, I got out that house as quick as I could. I called the police. I said, "Please hurry, come and get him, because I can't promise you that I won't do something very desperate."
I know that's right. We got to take this break and we got some company coming. Thank you for joining the
Okay, baby.
conversation, though, okay?
All right.
All
Holla
right.
at you later.
Appreciate it. Talk to you later. You listen to The Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. We'll see you on the other side.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Governor Ron DeSantis is rolling out a new congressional map that boosts Republican-leaning districts, leaving just 4 Democratic seats, mostly in South Florida and 1 in Central Florida. Equal Ground's Black Executive Director, Genesis Robinson.
Any attempt to redraw maps mid-decade is a violation of our Constitution, and they should listen to the will of the voters.
Voting rights groups say the plan violates Florida's Fair Districts rules. The Civil Rights Memorial Center in Montgomery, Alabama is hosting a traveling exhibit honoring Emmett Till and his mother, Mamie Till Mobley. The immersive display explores Till's 1955 killing and its role in sparking the civil rights movement and will remain on view through August. And Lizzo is reclaiming the B word as empowerment with her next album set for June 5th. The singer says the project centers confidence and self-love, with the lead track dropping May 1st. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
You're on the Front Porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back to the Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree, and on the other side of the glass is Jared. And as promised, I said we have some company, and in studio we have El Grandois.
Yes, you got it right.
Did it right. All right. And joining us on the phone, we have Reverend Kevin Peterson. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. I'm sure you heard some of the discourse we were having, but we have another pressing issue to discuss, and something that we need some movement on and some unity with regarding reparations.
Yes, absolutely. Again, thank you for having me on, and I am looking forward to being in New Orleans and NOLA this coming weekend. Catch a little bit of the Jazz Fest, but more importantly, to visit the campus of Xavier University and put on display a screening of our documentary Reparations Untold. And it is a feature film about 110 minutes, hour and a half. Hour and 15 minutes, I should say, which looks at the history of the Black experience in this country through the lens of white supremacy and oppression. So we go back to Africa and bring it into the modern times, looking at the history of white supremacy, but most importantly, looking at what reparations should look like in this country. So Boston is the lens. I'm calling you from Boston. We use some of the reparations justice efforts in Boston as the center for the film, but it has universal appeal, and I'm sure folks in New Orleans will enjoy it. So I'm inviting your listeners to come on out and join us at Xavier this coming Monday.
Yes, but before you, I'm not sure if you're close to your radio or like a speaker, or if maybe you have an earbud in. We're getting a little feedback on air.
Okay, let me take myself off the speaker.
There we go.
Better.
Much better.
Okay, that's better?
Yes, that's perfect.
How's it going, Kevin?
Okay.
I wanted to, before we continue along about the conversation about the movie and the screening and the work that went into it, we'd like to hear about the journey. And so how did Reverend Kevin Peterson, who grew up in Boston, that is?
I grew up in Philadelphia, but I'm based in Boston. I've been here for a couple of decades.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
So from Philadelphia, take us through the journey from Philadelphia through now.
Well, in short, in Philadelphia, grew up in North Philadelphia, which is not either the safest or most wealthy part of town, part of that city, the city of brotherly love. But I love growing up in that city. I love the people there. Still have friends there. I grew up in a household where the acts of civic engagement were important. My father was a local, low-level elected official, and he trained us to be focused on the community, but more importantly, to be focused around justice and racial justice and social justice. So as I, in my adult years, moved to Boston to go to Boston University, and then settled here in the city, I continued my focus, my interest around community development, civic engagement, and racial justice. And so over the decades now, I've been focusing on electoral politics that support voting and civic engagement within this city's Black community. And that journey sort of dovetailed into a serious focus around racial justice and reparations in particular. So for the last 5 years, in the post-George Floyd America, and that police murder really changed my mindset around focusing on around racial justice through the work around reparations. So that brings me here. Founded an organization called the Boston Reparations Commission is a grassroots nonprofit which is currently pushing the city of Boston to deliver on reparations in a formal way through money, through policies, and through reconciliation at some point.
Yeah, I think this is what California was also having serious conversations about reparations and what that looks like. And
Yes.
I think the conversation has been necessary for quite some time. However, it always gets muddied and things get muddled into discussion where we get off track and then we lose momentum on the focus that's moving forward. How is it that you all are keeping everything so centralized and with your eyes still on the prize and moving in the direction of the prize?
Well, in a few ways. First, we've developed this grassroots organization, the Boston People's Reparations Commission. We meet monthly with people within the community. We've comprised 70 commission members, volunteer posts, but it is a leadership opportunity for those in the Black community in Boston to keep our eyes on the prize, as you say. So we meet every month. This coming Wednesday, we're going to engage in one of the actions that came out of a recent meeting, where we're going to go and have a teach-in in the mayor's office. Mayor Michelle Wu will have a teach-in around reparations, and we're going to demand reparations be a part of this city's upcoming budget. But we also have dialogue, and one of the reasons why I'm on the phone with you on your show this morning is that part of our efforts over the last 2 years has been to develop this documentary as a teaching tool, as a way to inspire not only folks in Boston, Black folks in Boston, but across the country, and of course, including New Orleans on this coming Monday, the 4th of May. So we are inspired, and we're serious about getting this film into different parts of the country. We're looking forward to a HBCU college tour with this film this coming fall. But it's important to really have materials or information for people to digest in order to stay focused and stay inspired around what we need to do around reparations. It will not occur overnight. It's going to take effort and a push, but we must be vigilant. I remind folks that folks in our community were enslaved for 243 years, but all during that course of time, we kept pushing. We kept pushing for emancipation, kept pushing for slavery. So it may not happen immediately, but it's important that we keep a sustained effort and educate ourselves and develop leadership over the generations so that we move into the future with an eye towards racial repair, but specifically reparations in the form of 40 acres and a mule, so-called. By that I mean monetary reparations. There should be a check, as Dr. King said during the end of his life. He said we've come into Washington for a check. He was talking about reparations. So we're focused on that, and we're looking forward to having serious conversation with folks on the ground in New Orleans about what they can do locally and how we could be helpful through the distribution of this film, the screening of the film, but in any other way. If we can provide a model that would, the Boston model, so to speak, that will help build up what's happening on the ground in New Orleans, we look forward to having those conversations and partnerships.
Absolutely, and I would love to have you plugged into some of our high schools here, because oftentimes we need to have them activated before they're even able to vote. They need to get the information, and I hope that you don't limit your time here in New Orleans to just the colleges, even though there are 3 HBCUs in the city. I hope you get all 3 of them, but also to talk to our students that are in high school so that they can, as they are approaching 18, be armed with information so that when it's time for them to go to the polls and increase the numbers in the polls, they know what they're going to do and they have a layout and a specific plan.
Well, absolutely. We'll be on the ground on Monday and Tuesday, and maybe my brother Al or yourself could help us tap into some of the high schools.
Yes,
To have
absolutely. I'm an educator here in the city, so I have quite a few contacts.
Yes, and the
beautiful.
Yeah, and the event is not limited to simply Xavier students. It's open, obviously, to the faculty, to the public, to the community as a whole, and we're openly inviting the community. And I reached out to our great folks. We have great community leaders in Louisiana who are gun ho, very passionate about these topics as well, and have invited them to attend and engage in this meaningful conversation.
And it's very necessary. You're talking about sharing history with our young people whose parents may not have experienced the different phases. I mean, through my grandparents and great grandparents that I had the pleasure of at least knowing and hearing some of the stories. There's a generation right now that missed out on the people who actually have had those lived experiences. So information, for starters, is highly important when we're asking for a mandate. Because a lot of people are hearing the call and telling us to go one direction or another, but they don't understand why. And with reparations, you gave a pretty great synopsis of the journey here. But what is the ask in Boston? What are you asking for from Boston on behalf of the citizens, the Black citizens or descendants of slavery from that area?
I'm glad you asked because there are specific asks in the form of policy. So we've challenged the city as we started this mobilization 2 years ago. We challenged the city to apologize for its participation in the transatlantic slave trade. Many folks around the country are not aware that there were slaves in Boston. They walked the streets of Boston. Most people think it's a slave-free city, and the history of slavery is not connected with Boston, but it certainly is. So we pushed the city to apologize for its role in terms of allowing slaves to be in this city, enslaved people, and apologize for its participation in the transatlantic slave trade more broadly. And we pushed hard, and the city eventually did apologize officially. The Boston City Council did, and the mayor did, and signed papers saying that they apologized. So that was one thing. We need to push for acknowledgement. The second step around reparation is repair. So we put a number on the table in terms of what Blacks in Boston should receive. We said that the city should, in fact, commit to an initial payment of $15 billion to the Black residents in the city of Boston. And we divided it up into components where $5 billion, now this is just an initial allocation around reparations for Blacks. So the first $5 billion of the total 15 will be dedicated to monetary payout. So a certain amount of money will go into the pockets or the hands of those Blacks in the city of Boston. Then we said there should be another $15 billion set aside for home purchasing and business development, micro business or macro business, but they need to be focused in the Black community and run and owned and created by Black people in the city of Boston. The third pocket of money, the third of the $15 billion, $5 billion will go to community development. Will be directed towards public safety issues and education issues and healthcare issues, so that the Black community, which disproportionately suffers in the city of Boston when compared to whites around violence, around healthcare, around education, so that we can begin to build up a new civic infrastructure within the Black community in Boston. And we offer this model to other reparationists around the country. So we've been as thoughtful as we can be, and we're still developing. And we're trying to learn from other groups. I hope to learn a lot from folks in New Orleans about how to put together a comprehensive reparations policy.
Absolutely. Reverend Kevin Peterson, how can our listeners follow you and follow along the movement so they can see more information as you're traveling with the movie Reparations, Heal the Past, Build the Future. Are you
Wonderful.
active on the socials?
Wonderful. Yeah, we're active on social media, but our main, to gather up some of the more substantive information about the organization, your listeners can go to BostonReparationsCommission.org. BostonReparationsCommission.org. That's our website, and you'll get a sense of the scope of our work and how we've been looking at community organizing and building leadership within the community around racial justice issues. And you'll also be able to see our strategic plan on that website. Other than that, we're on Facebook under Reparations Untold, under the title of the movie, and we're also on YouTube. You can Google Reparations Untold and get some and view some clips of the screening and get some other information from the YouTube.
Wonderful. Well, Reverend Kevin Peterson, El Grandois, thank you for joining us here on the Front Porch, and we look forward, of course, to seeing the screening and also hearing some of the feedback from the people who attend. And again, this event is open to the public. Jared did put the flyer on the screen during the interview, but I'm tagged in one of the flyers as well. So those of you who are interested, make sure you RSVP so they can make the accommodations for you all. Thank you, Reverend Peterson. I appreciate speaking with you, and I look forward to meeting you as well next Monday.
Well, I am also, and I want to just thank my brother Al for organizing all this on the ground and making me feel welcome. Not my first time in New Orleans, but Al is a solid leader of the community. I want to give a shout out to him and thank you, WBOK. Right?
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. We'll speak with you soon.
Okay.
You listen to the Front Porch here on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. Stay tuned. We're going to continue that conversation we were talking about on the other side of this break, but we'll see you on the other side of it, y'all.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. This morning, we're working to get more information on a deadly shooting in Mid-City. Police tell us this happened around 8 o'clock last night on South Hennessy near Bawden Street. Police say when they got to the scene, they found a man shot at least once. He later died. No word yet on a motive or if any arrests have been made. Now, this comes as a man is recovering this morning after a shooting in Algiers. Police say it happened around 8 o'clock last night on General Meyer near Solon Place. He was later taken to the hospital. Call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111 if you have any information that can help police in either of these two shootings. Today, community activists will meet with New Orleans Sewerage and Water Board to discuss the sewage leak in the Dwyer Canal. It comes after an independent study of the canal by a resident revealed multiple leaks, sewage discharge, and the release of hydrogen sulfide. The board read that report and said it was working on a plan to address the issue. After today's meeting, community members are invited to a Zoom meeting to talk with residents. And a new trial date has been set for the 5 suspects accused in the hazing death of Caleb Wilson. Isaiah Smith, Kyle Thurman, Caleb Cray, Winston Sanders, and Jaden Landrum pleaded not guilty back in January. Wilson, 20 years old, died in February of last year after being punched in the chest with a boxing glove and an unsanctioned Omega Psi Phi fraternity pledging ritual. Since his death, Southern University has expelled the fraternity. The new trial date will now take place on August 19th. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK. Have a great day.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Bobby Wagner is a Super Bowl winning linebacker and one of only 3 to record 2,000 tackles or more. But even though he's super talented on the field, he knew when he entered the league that football was just one part of his journey.
Football was going to be a really big avenue for me, and football was going to be something that made me wealthy, but I knew it wasn't the end goal.
Instead, Wagner has put the wealth and access football has given him to use in the world of business. One of his most recent big investments didn't take the longtime Seattle Seahawks player too far from home. He's recently bought himself a stake in the WNBA's Seattle Storm.
I've been connected with Seattle for a long time, and I've watched the Storm. The Storm's been doing their thing for a really, really long time. So not just like from a championship perspective, but when you're in the city, they do a lot of good in the community.
Wagner's part of a growing number of current and former players that are moving into the ownership ranks. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
It's deck days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. The deck's stacked in your favor with brands pros trust. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks.
And Kimber White Dupree.
From the Front Porch, y'all. You know how we do. Every Monday is Movie Monday.
And Tuesday is Trivia Tuesday.
And y'all know we have nothing but bad cheering coming through here on Wednesday.
But stick with us. On Thursday, we travel.
That's right. And Friday's Free Your Mind Friday, so get your brass up.
Something on your mind? Want to get it off your chest?
Holla at your people. WBOK 1230 AM, the station you listen to.
All day long.
Join the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation as it brings the island vibes of Jamaica to Generations Hall at the 2026 Jazz and Heritage Gala on Wednesday, April 22nd from 7 till 10 p.m. One love, one music, one people presents an electric evening supporting music, education with iconic performances by the Wailers featuring Julia Marley, Big Sam's Funky Nation, and the Don, Moose Jameson's Heritage School of Music All-Stars featuring Deacon John. Visit jazzandheritagegala.com for more information.
Transform your bathroom with the beautiful quality of Bath Planet. As a trusted leader in bathroom renovation, Bath Planet has earned the Good Housekeeping seal, a symbol of quality and consumer confidence for over 100 years. Get half off installation or 18 months with no interest and no payments. Whether it's tub replacement, a shower replacement, or a tub-to-shower conversion, Bath Planet makes your custom bath fast, easy, and affordable. Here's how it works. 1. Call to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. 2. Our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3. Our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months with no interest and no payments. But you need to call now. This special offer is only available by calling 800-981-8177. That's 800-981-8177. Call 800-981-8177 right now before the offer ends.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. You're on the Front Porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
what New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree, and on the other side of the glass is Jared. And that was a great interview with Reverend Kevin Peterson and El Grandois, who will be screening the movie Reparations, Heal the Past, Build the Future. And it's open to students, faculty, and the community. It'll be taking place on May 4th at 6:30 p.m. in the UC. That'll be on the 3rd floor in the ballroom. And they ask that you RSVP so they can make space. Back to our conversations that we were having. I want to reply to Andrew Harris Jr. because I need you to understand for real, where I stand on what you are saying to me. For starters, you can go to the hell that you're trying to send me to. And I'm going to read your comments out so that you understand where and why I'm taking this position with you. For you to ask me about me questioning that man integrity, like I'm the author of right or wrong, I get to question whomever has a comment while you called in or type it in the comments. If you don't like it, you can always change the channel, change the station, if that's what you want to do. Then you go on to say, going to live for the first time, mind gone. She is coming from a secular standpoint and committing idolatry straight to hell. No, you can go straight to hell. And I mean quickly. Play with somebody else that's more safe than me. If you want a conversation on the front porch, I'm open to it. But what we're not going to do is send places that neither one of us has control to send the other person to. And I have more, but I'm going to pause there. Please go find yourself something safe to do. Please and thank you. 504-582-9422. What up, Pop Jones?
Lord have mercy. Look like I done got in the middle of something here.
Oh, no, you did not. That was directed
Wow.
to a specific person indeed.
Look, Kim, I wanted to comment. I already got some information
Okay.
about tomorrow. And I've given my time, and everything. But I wanted to comment on Boston. I had a cousin. He passed away a couple of years ago. He graduated from Xavier University in music. And he went to Boston. And when he first went to Boston, it was so prejudiced, he had to run for his life at one point into a club to save his life. Now, I've been to Manhattan many times, and I've been to Connecticut a couple of times, but I've never been to Boston. But Boston really was something else. It was a real prejudiced person.
Absolutely.
I don't know how it is now.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, well, that's my experience. And he was in music. He was a very good student, and he was a musician that had perfect pitch. You familiar with that?
Say again.
Perfect Pitch.
The movie?
No, that's he was a person in music.
Oh, who had perfect pitch? Okay, gotcha.
Perfect Pitch is like he could hear the wheels of a bus. Then he could make. I don't know exactly. It had to have a musician to explain.
He can hear the key that noise is being made.
Something he could explain something about that. Perfect Pitch. He was in school, but when the teacher was teaching, he already knew that stuff.
Wow.
That the teacher was teaching. That's how wise. They say perfect pitch. You'd have to have a musician to describe that to you, that with that perfect.
I am a musician too, Pop.
Oh, you are? Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. That you would know.
Yes.
About what I was talking. I don't know nothing about no music.
Perfect pitch. If you think of a sound that sounds so sweet to your ears, and you have somebody who comes in to try to copy that sound or make that sound, you can hear the difference between those two. That's somebody who is able to determine keys like that. That's what perfect pitch is.
Right. Oh, okay. I forgot that you and the music and dancing and
Yeah, my mom
everything.
and my parents
teaching,
put me in a lot.
Oh, your mom was?
My mom played piano, but I'm saying my parents had me
Oh,
doing a
okay.
lot.
Oh, they put you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. That's a beautiful thing.
Well, Pop, I got the docs on the other line, and we want to get some updates
Okay,
because we
yeah,
got some
okay. All
vaccination
right.
things
Thank
we
you.
need to know
Kim,
about.
I'll hope to see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you later, Pop. All righty. All right. It is the time. We have both Dr. Eric Griggs and Dr. Mark Ellen Derry joining us here on the Front Porch for Bad Churn Wednesday. And there was a lot of excitement in our chatter this morning. So good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you. Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. How's it going on this Wednesday?
It's going great. Thank you. Is Dr. Griggs on?
Say again.
I am.
Yes,
I
he
am.
He is.
Eric, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Everything is going well. Yeah, lots to talk about.
Yes. So this morning at 9:13, last night at 9:13 p.m., two important stories to talk about tomorrow. Utah is recommending earlier MMR vaccines, something only seen in resource-poor countries. That's how bad the outbreak is there. And then two, the CDC is purposely holding back positive data on vaccine efficacy. Last week, they held back an article in the MMR showing how effective the 2025 vaccines were in preventing hospitalizations. And I'm going to stop there. You have the floor.
Wow.
I'm going to let
Mark
Allen. Mark Allen, go for it.
Yes.
Start it off. Because woo.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So really what I wanted to talk about this week was that we've reached a new low point in American public health. And these two stories are reflective of those two low points. I've talked about kind of regularly here on the Front Porch about the kind of the multiple Jenga games that are being played simultaneously and how pieces of blocks are being removed from that Jenga game. So two very, very critical pieces of that block was removed from the public health Jenga game. So the first one is what Utah is doing. So, as listeners know, as mostly everybody knows, that the first MMR, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine that you get is at 12 months, and the baby is not protected until 13 months. It takes about a month to generate antibodies. Prior to that, you have some of mom's antibodies, but really the baby's mostly unprotected from about 6 months to 12 months. Mom's antibodies kind of, wash out eventually. And so the question is, well, if the baby's not protected at 6 months, why do we leave the baby unprotected until 12 months? And that leads to what is going on in Utah right now. So when you look at long-term studies of measles protection, what they have found over and over again is that the sweet spot, the best time to give a measles injection is at 12 months. Why is that? Because multiple studies have shown that the long-term protection that you get, so your immune system is perfectly primed at 12 months to not only generate antibodies, but robust antibodies and antibodies that will last you oftentimes, a lifetime. I mean, I only got one MMR, and Eric did too. When we grew up, it wasn't until 1989 that they added the second shot. There's a whole generation, all the Gen Xers. Yeah, measles.
I had to get the measles for nursing school because I thought I had already had it because of the other
You definitely
schedule.
did. But because of our age, so those that were born in the 60s and 70s, we all got one shot of an MMR. And it works. It works really, really well. But for those of us in healthcare, I actually had to get another MMR a couple of years ago because my titers had faded a bit. But the point is that we all got it at 12 months, and that's the sweet spot. It provides long-term protection. But when you're looking at countries that have endemic measles, so these resource-poor countries, right? What we used to refer to as third world countries, right? We refer to them as resource poor countries now. These resource poor countries start giving measles injections at 6 months. Well, why do they do that? Well, it's because measles is so endemic in their communities that they would rather deal with poorer long-term protection. They would rather deal with the immediate issue of being protected now, and they'll deal with what happens if you lose your measles protection later. Does that make sense? It's a good public health strategy because at 6 months, children, babies, infants, babies are now susceptible to measles. And so what resource poor countries have done, the strategy has been, is to only vaccinate at 6 months at MMR to give these children protection. And what is happening now across the country, we have now 33 separate outbreaks. 33. This is not like one international person comes in or whatever. These are endemic. These are likely to be very endemic. In other words, these outbreaks are happening in 19 different counties around the country. And what we are seeing is 33 outbreaks, 19 counties, and almost 1,800 cases of measles right now. Spartanburg, South Carolina, had almost 1,000 cases just since the beginning of the year, and they're likely now finally to have shed themselves of measles. But right now, the hot spot is Utah. And so what the public health practitioners have done in Utah, which is a move that I agree with, but it's a shocking move because we've never seen it before, is that they are now vaccinating children at 6 months. So they are saying, forget about that sweet spot at 12 months. That the measles is so pervasive in our community right now in Utah that we would rather deal with long-term immunity later. We have to deal with that short-term immunity now. And it's a shocking turn in public health events in the U.S.
So I have a question. You said 1,800 confirmed outbreaks? That does not mean people? Cases. Okay.
Cases.
So 1,800 outbreaks versus the data prior to
33 separate outbreaks in 19 counties.
Wow. So
33 separate outbreaks, 19 counties, equaling 1,800. Just to give you an idea, last year, 2025, which was the worst measles outbreaks we've had in decades, we had almost 2,500 cases.
Right,
so
and
we are on par to break that record.
I'm concerned and confused about. All of this is happening in one state?
No, multiple states.
Okay,
19 counties around the country.
Okay.
19 counties around the country.
But then that means there's more likely to be like outbreak.
Listen. Measles, remember, and this is something that Eric can explain because Eric is brilliant in creating these analogies. When you have measles, you are an aerosolized generating machine.
Yeah.
What are the symptoms of measles? It's cough and it's severe runny nose. So what happens with the cough and the runny nose, okay? The virus has to travel. It's a respiratory virus. Remember, it's the most infectious respiratory virus known to humans. It's R0. It's 12 to 18. In other words, one person can transmit it to 12 to 18 people. That's just to give you an idea. Flu is like the R0 is 3. HIV, the R0 is like 2. Ebola, the R0 is like 5. Just to give you an idea, right? So this is the R0 is 12 to 18 people, right?
Okay.
So the virus lives in aerosolized droplets. And those aerosolized droplets have to come from somewhere. Where do they come from? They come from that runny nose. Because the runny nose is so pervasive, the virus jumps into the mucus of the runny nose, and then you cough. Now you're coughing and you're sneezing, and you're basically aerosolizing this virus. And those aerosolized droplets are so small, they're not affected by gravity. So you can walk into a room that's an empty room that somebody was in 20 minutes ago, and that measles virus is still circulating in that room for up to 2 hours.
Wow.
So the virus will find the unvaccinated, and what we are seeing right now is a profound sense of a breakdown in public health, such that we are now recommending 6-month vaccinations for MMR. And I will tell you this: the reason why Spartanburg County in South Carolina was able to finally get their measles under control was that their MMR uptake went up by like 1,000%. When families started to see friends and family members or whatever going to the hospital, kids were profoundly sick or whatever, they immediately started vaccinating their children. And that's how they were able to quell the outbreak. And so that also just goes to show why things are so difficult in this country when it comes to vaccines. If you don't see it, you're just going to say no. But then all of a sudden, when you see it, of course, everybody loves their children. And of course, they're going to want the best for their children. It's only then that they are choosing to get vaccinated.
Right. And oftentimes after the opportunity has passed.
Yes. 100%. So you can see. Go ahead, Eric. Please. I would love to hear your thoughts, Eric.
I was going to say, if you could talk a little bit about severity. It's not just a cough and runny nose, because we're not talking about it enough. Tell them about subacute sclerosing panencephalitis and what happens.
Right, yeah. So let's be very clear. Go ahead, Kimbo. I'm sorry.
I said a who, what sandwich did what, how?
Yeah. Let me explain. Yeah. So measles isn't just like you get a rash, you get a fever, and you get the cough and the runny nose and the red eyes or whatever, right? Oh, big deal. They'll get immunity and they'll never have it again or whatever. No. Like, remember, measles in the short term causes significant pneumonia, dehydration, and in 1 in 20 can actually cause death. It was responsible for millions of children to go to the hospital prior to the vaccine a year because of not only the pneumonia, but also the swelling of the brain. You get something called encephalitis. That's about 1 in 10 and 1 in 15 get this brain encephalitis, which means swelling of the brain. And in 1 in 50 or so, we're going to know these numbers much better in the next couple of years because we're going to start measuring this. These kids that are surviving measles, thank goodness they survived, thank goodness. But that doesn't mean they're out of the woods, because other long-term sequelae like neurologic issues like blindness or deafness can happen later. But some of the worst ones are something called what Eric was talking about a moment ago, which is a subacute sclerosing encephalitis. Subacute means it happens over a long period of time. Pan means all over the brain. Pan means everything. So in this case, it's the brain. So it's the entire brain. And sclerosing encephalitis means that the vessels, the nerves become scarred. So to put it all together, that means in 10 years, the child's brain can be completely scarred over, and 1 minute you're perfectly beautiful 12-year-old ballet dancer who's going to be going to Joffrey Ballet, or your little league pitcher who's a straight A student who is MVP, all-star pitcher in the little league team, all of a sudden just becomes hyperreflexic. He loses all muscle tone. Literally overnight it happens. His intellect is completely dropped, and within 1 month it has 100% mortality rate. Now, that we don't know how often that occurs because we haven't seen it in modern times. But over the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to have better measures of that. But although it doesn't happen frequently, it does happen. And so I just say this so that people recognize measles is not just a simple it's just a fever and a rash, they'll get over it. The long-term sequelae are the things that should scare us. But just to kind of underscore the importance, the Utah public health practitioners are so scared of those sequelae, they'd rather protect kids, now babies, now at 6 months, than the 12 months that they'd rather do because of how pervasive measles is in our country right now. And let me just also wrap up with this to say that it's very, 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 very likely that the U.S. is going to follow in Canada's footsteps. Canada lost their measles elimination status, and it's highly likely the U.S. is going to lose theirs too.
And what happens when that happens? So for those of us who are
Oh,
vaccinated,
that is
those of us who are
the
vaccinated,
Jenga game is collapsing.
what happens? Like, what happens to the? Because I've noticed, with the raw milk movement and the non-vaxxers, and when it comes to the COVID vaccine, I get that. I get the skepticism on that one. But for the vaccines that have been around for
Oh,
a
why,
long
why,
time,
why, Kemba? Why do you get the?
I get
Wait a second.
I get the skepticism. I chose to get vaccinated because of who I was going to be exposed to in the event I got COVID, which I never did get COVID. However, my father at the time was immunocompromised and he also had several comorbidities that I didn't want, that if I got it, that I was going to cause him to be sick. But I understand people's untrusting because they the knowledge about vaccines are often not had with conversations that people speak plain English. Like you give us the science conversations, but between you and Eric, you will also make it so that laymen can understand it. That's not how a lot of information is presented to people who don't know who to ask to get clarity, where they feel safe with it.
Understood. I wish more people would listen to the Front Porch.
Yeah, no, really, and really, for sure. And also, again, the trust I know from certain family members and even friends, the untrust, the distrust.
Understood.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah.
Understood. I will say this, like I all I can say is what the science and Eric can, Eric and I spent years making cartoons about this. I mean,
yeah.
The science right now behind COVID vaccines, not to get off on a tangent, but the science behind the COVID vaccines are so excellent. And I know that we talk about this almost every time I come on. Remember, two things. One is that if you get an infection like COVID, or influenza or RSV or any of these respiratory viruses, and in fact, in Scandinavia, I think it was Denmark, they showed that people who were hospitalized from a UTI, do you know how many people I see hospitalized from a UTI? That the risk of dementia is significantly elevated later in life. And we've seen that with all of the respiratory viruses. Not only have we seen that with respiratory viruses, what we talk about this all the time, is that the risk of cardiovascular and cerebral vascular, so heart attacks and strokes, are significantly elevated later in life for people who get not only respiratory infections like that, but UTIs and even shingles. So the vaccines for all of three, RSV, COVID, and flu, as well as shingles vaccines, have all shown significant declines in people. So people who get the vaccines versus people who don't get the vaccines. What they've shown is that the people who get the vaccines, when compared to people who don't get the vaccines, they don't experience heart attacks as to the same rate that those that don't get the vaccines. They don't experience heart attacks, strokes, or vascular dementia. In other words, the ability to continue to age gracefully in life. So the prevention, what we have seen in 2025 and 2026 is something that I keep talking about here, because this is something that's so new, is that there has been an explosion of information just showing not only just getting an infection, but the idea of preventing infections has significantly, sorry guys, I'm at the hospital. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. That was overhead.
Yeah,
Okay.
so part of the
overhead.
explosion in information is the exponential rate at which we're able to use artificial intelligence now. We're able to read more and reassess more data than we've ever been able to do before. And the more that happens, the more that you're going to find that there are studies, and we're able to study and get more data to support being vaccinated. And so we don't have to have issues like we're talking about in Utah.
And let me segue into the numbers, and I know we have to kind of bounce out in just a second, Kimba, but let me segue into point number 2.
Okay.
Point number 2, which is a devastating new reality, and this is something that we have been talking about here on the Front Porch for years, which is now the government is holding back data, scientific data. Think about that. That has never happened, or at least I'm sure it's happened, but we've never seen it, and it has been exposed. Last week, the MMWR, the
measles, mumps,
rubella. No, the mortality.
Oh, okay, you said MMR.
The mortality, morbidity and mortality weekly report is the MMWR. The CDC releases this every week. This is kind of like for geeks like Eric and I. This is what we live on every week, and we just kind of taking sense of what's going on in the country in terms of infectious diseases. Last week, the MMWR was slated to release an article that showed that the 2025 COVID vaccine, the one last fall, significantly, by greater than 50%, reduced the risk of hospitalizations across all age groups, not just the elderly, across all age groups. Let me repeat that. The 2025 COVID vaccine, the updated vaccine, significantly reduced the rate of hospitalizations. That is tremendous. In the public health world, that's a big deal. Then the government restricted that paper from being released. Think about that. That is a new low. They purposely held back. So what happened was a bunch of whistleblowers were like,
Dr. Derry, we're running out on time, and I do want to get more information about this report and what the information is withholding from us, but we do have to get out of here. But I want to thank you for sharing so much information for us to go back and listen to, because I think people really, grandparents, it's time for you to start activating your kids and making sure your grandkids are covered. Is there a fair assumption to make?
100%.
Yes. Well, thank you, thank you. We do have to get out of here. But if y'all have any time outside of Wednesday next week, that would be amazing to have you guys back to have. I want to hear the rest of this information so we can share it with our listeners.
Of course, just let us know what day. It's I'm available.
Okay,
I definitely want my calendar.
Perfect. I'll ask Jared to make sure he puts that on a calendar, because I would definitely want to hear the rest of that information. But it's wonderful talking to you, gentlemen. We're getting ready to get up out of here, and thank you for doing what you do for our community and checking in with our listening audience to keep them aware and what's going on. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right.
Lots of love. Stay safe. Bye.
Talk to you guys later. Y'all, thank you for tuning in to the Front Porch and giving us 3 hours of your life that you will never get back. Also, thank you for engaging in a conversation, and we're definitely going to continue along with this. Look forward to seeing Pop Jones for his jazz segment on the Front Porch on tomorrow. And remember, to practice random acts of kindness and do something nice for somebody else, because it's a nice thing to do. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I'm going to see y'all on the flip. Bye.
How we help each other shows what kind of world we want to live in, and the smallest actions together speak the loudest. So, what kind of world do you want to live in? Give NOLA Day is May 7th. Early giving starts April 23rd. Make a donation today at givenola.org.
City Park is where to go when you don't know where to go. Turn towards the city center and start walking. Before long, you'll end up where you belong, at the heart of the city, New Orleans City Park. Stroll along the reeded marsh, wander through the sculpture garden, rest and recharge beneath ancient oak trees. This is where your spirit goes to grow. It's in our nature to yearn for nature. NewOrleansCityPark.org, heart of the city.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Comparing the cost of will, successions, and trusts.
A will might only be a few $100s, but your family could end up paying more in legal fees.
Trust costs more upfront, but saves time, stress, and potentially thousands.
Think of it as paying a little now to avoid a big bill later. Smart planning means big savings for your family. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Life Care provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses, such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that